Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we uncover the weird stories behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Abundio Noel Libot. Thanks for the suggestion, Noel. You asked, why does February have the fewest days? Every year, we go through the same cycle. January feels like it lasts a decade. March sneaks up on us. And then there's February, our little speed bump of a month. But why is it so short? Was it just unlucky? Did the other months gang up on it? Or did some ancient ruler just have a personal vendetta against February? Stick around, because we're finding the answer to the history, politics, and a little bit of mathematical weirdness of February. Right here on Explaining Everything. To understand why February got the short end of the stick, we have to go way back to ancient Rome. Before Julius Caesar shook things up, Rome used a lunar calendar, meaning months were based on the moon's cycles. This system was messy, unpredictable, and about as organized as a toddler's toy collection. At the time, the Roman calendar had 10 months, starting in March and ending in December. Yep, no January or February. Winter was just a gap, a weird, unstructured time that didn't even have months. It was like Rome took a holiday break and just decided to vibe until spring. Then came King Numa Pompilius, the second king of Rome, because the first one, Romulus, was busy being a legend. Numa looked at this 10-month chaos and decided Rome needed a full 12-month year. So he added January and February to cover winter. Now, Romans believed even numbers were unlucky because reasons. So Numa made most months 29 or 31 days. But he needed to get the total year to 365 days. To make the math work, he had to assign one month the shortest number of days possible. And guess which month got the bad deal? Yep. Poor February, the last one added, got 28 days, probably because by the time they got to it, they were out of ideas and patience. Fast forward a few centuries, and Julius Caesar steps in and realizes Rome's calendar is a total disaster. Festivals were happening at the wrong seasons, and the whole thing was out of sync with the sun. So, with the help of an astronomer named Sosigenes, he introduced the Julian calendar. This new calendar was based on the solar year, 365.25 days long. To fix the extra 0.25, Caesar added a leap year every 4 years. And since February was already the oddball, it was the easiest place to throw in an extra day. So now, every 4 years, February gets a little treat, 29 days instead of 28. But even with this fix, February remained the shortest month. Why? Because by then, the other months had already claimed their days, and no one wanted to give any back. The calendar could have stayed that way, but then came Emperor Augustus, Julius Caesar's successor. He wasn't about to let July, named after Julius, be longer than August, the month named after him. That just wouldn't do. So, according to legend, though some historians debate this, Augustus took a day from February and added it to August, making July and August both 31 days long. Because, vanity. Poor February. Not only was it already short, but now it was getting bullied by a power-hungry emperor. At this point, you might be wondering, couldn't someone later have just fixed the calendar and given February more days? great question. But by the time people realized February was unfairly short, the calendar was already deeply entrenched in society. People were used to it. Governments, religious holidays, agriculture schedules, it was all based on this structure. Messing with it would have caused chaos. So, instead of redistributing the days, we just left February as the little month that could. Even though February got the worst deal, leap years give it a small win. Every 4 years, it briefly joins the ranks of the longer months with 29 days. But even this system isn't perfect. You see, a leap year doesn't happen every 4 years. The Earth actually takes 365.2422 days to orbit the Sun. Not exactly 365.25. Over time, this small difference adds up. To fix it, the Gregorian calendar, introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582, skips leap years in centuries that aren't divisible by 400. So, the years 1700, 1800, and 1900 weren't leap years, but 2000s was. A little confusing? Yes, but at least our seasons don't slowly drift out of place. So, next time you glance at your calendar and wonder why February got the short end of the stick, remember, it's not just bad luck. It's the result of ancient Roman rulers juggling numbers, tweaking the calendar, and, in some cases, letting their egos shape history. What started as an attempt to make sense of time turned into a centuries-old quirk that we still follow today. So, while February may always feel like the odd month out, at least it has a story worth telling. If you learned something new today, why not show February some love by hitting like and subscribe? Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.